Commander, our position has been discovered. As of 2 hours ago, a large Confederate strike force arrived on Antigua Prime and established a base camp within our defensive perimeter. Arcturus Mengsk is calling a meeting.
Greetings. I know you're all concerned about the Confederate strike force. But first, we have a grave matter to discuss. It seems our data disks didn't hold weapon designs after all. Lieutenant Kerrigan will explain.
You all know that the Confederates run a program for psychically gifted humans, training them to be ghosts. Those running the program found that the Zerg are attuned to the psychic emanations of ghosts.
So the Zerg are here for you, darling? This keeps getting better and better.
Shut up. There's been a lot of secret Confederate research surrounding ghosts and the Zerg. What we stole was a small but critical piece of the puzzle. Designs for a transplanar psionic waveform emitter. The emitters broadcast the neural imprint of a ghost, but at a much greater magnitude. These things reach across worlds.
The Confederacy used these psi emitters to lure the Zerg into isolated containment areas. Your colony, Mars-Sara Commander, was one such location.
What are you saying?
I'm saying the Zerg are a secret weapon developed by the Confederacy. I'm saying you were all subjects of a Confederate weapons test. Just as they destroyed Korhal with nuclear weapons to establish dominance a generation ago, they would use the Zerg to put an end to their other rivals. Only this time there'd be no outrage. Who could suspect the aliens were their creation? No, they'd be lauded as heroes for coming in and destroying the Zerg. It's time the Confederacy paid for its crimes. And I know just the way. Lieutenant Kerrigan is going to plant an emitter at the Confederate base camp. Commander, you will provide her with an escort. When the Zerg arrive, they'll break the blockade for us and we'll make our escape. Now, get moving.
I'm having doubts about this, Arcturus. I just don't think anyone deserves to have the Zerg unleashed on them.
I know you have personal feelings about this, but you can't let your past cloud your judgment. Carry out your orders, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
What is going on, everyone? This is SQ back with some more StarCraft 1 for you. Today we are doing Mission 7, the Trump card. As you can see, as what's going on the screen, you pull back everything. Pull back both the starport and the science facility. There is a siege tank to where you start, where your starting position is, and believe me, you're going to lose that.
Base is under attack.
And that control tower, and you're also going to lose the 2 supply depots down where the mineral expansion is. So this is the first mission in the game that we get access to the point where we can actually fully take on and actually play another style called mech. Mech in StarCraft 1. This is by far the most, how can I say this, as the most basic of builds for both Terran versus Terran and Terran versus Protoss, because of how good the siege tanks and everything is about it. So basically, the majority of it, of the mech army, is both tanks and vultures in both Terran versus Terran and Terran versus Protoss matchup. But we're not going to be doing that we're not going to be doing it this mission. I'll realize it later on. So we're going to be building out of barracks mainly, but biomech is still good in this. It's still good for this stuff, but it lost its purpose. What you're supposed to be doing at this point, after I say pull back everything from the northern position and the southern position, pull your Marines back. You're still going to need them as soon as you get 150 gas. Your first 150 gas, start researching siege mode, and whenever you get your next 100 or 150 gas, build your first siege tank. By the time the siege tank pops out, siege mode will be halfway done, and just keep some units to the north, and you'll be probably building some turrets as well, because there will be raids coming to your base. Oh, and you also get the science vessel that I talked about in last mission. So this is the mobile detector. We won't be seeing much of it. Its main purpose is to detect units, so it'll be useful for that. You'll be seeing it a lot. You'll be seeing its use a lot when we get to the 10th mission. I'm not kidding. This will be useful a lot. So as of right now, we're just setting up defenses and make sure that we have this one choke point. If you sit around it long enough, you will start getting harassed by enemies, but it won't be enough. I mean, you'll get a little hit squad coming from the north, a wraith coming from the south, but you'll rarely get something from the middle. If you're really good at this mission, because if you know how to push correctly, yeah, that's me zooming in. Look how they added that feature when the game was remastered. So you can also zoom out all the way in replay mode and all stuff. So here's the first skirmish: a firebat and a marine. Firebats and marines. That's fine. I'm terrible micring. So it's fine. I'll leave a minute. I'll leave some here. So yeah, I'm like, the research is done. The tank's all ready. So just position a tank to the north in case you get a skirmish again. Other than that, you'll be perfectly fine. Just make sure that you build a lot more tanks, a lot more marines, and build your economy up. The mission survival of this is Kerrigan must survive this mission, and the SCV that's building this is carrying that psi emitter. Do not, I repeat, do not send it to the enemy base unless you basically want to say, don't want to play this mission fully. Activate Power Overwhelming Cheat and send that SCV to the bunker. No, to the beacon. The only thing that can shut that SCV down is a ghost that says lockdown on it. Because the SCV is how do I say this? A mechanical unit. It's a biological mechanical unit, and it doesn't say that in this game until StarCraft 2 with its attributes. So we'll go from there. However,
not enough minerals.
Let's get into this mission, shall we? Even though that the new enemy unit you'll be facing this game or mission is in fact a Terran siege tank. I believe this is also the first enemy unit that you're facing a battle cruiser. Yes, the first enemy battle cruiser unit. So there is one in this mission. It's at the base. So after you build Marines and stuff, start building Goliaths, because Goliaths are really good in this mission as well. They take down a lot of air. You'll be facing a lot of wraiths mainly, and they're harassing. They're great for destroying your siege tanks. They're cloakers. Make sure you have at least 1 or 2 science vessels with your army. Do not lose your first science vessel. So as of right now, you can still do a lot of stuff. I'm just filling around again. The SCV carrying the psi emitter. You can still build with the bastard, but just keep mining other SCVs just to build up your economy. And once you're good and clean, you bring that wraith and a siege tank over to that mineral expansion where you lost your 2 depots, and you will take your expansion as planned. So just keep building. You'll be fine. And once you get at least 2 tanks, bring it. Oh, you're seeing it right now. I'm actually start moving out to take the thing, because I'm well prepared enough to actually deal with the siege tank opposition. Just make sure with the siege tank. Here's the thing about the siege tank. If you've played StarCraft 2, it is a immobile unit. It's got 2 modes: the standard tank mode and, in fact, the siege mode. Which, as you can see, I'm using the Wraith as extends the vision of it. The range of the tank is still the same. It actually goes beyond the tank's actual standard view range. So having a Wraith, spider mines, anything in the area to keep the tank in vision will basically allow it to fire. So that's basically it. Other than that, just make sure you're doing everything else. Move the tank forward. Don't. Yeah, just don't pull the. You can basically just do whatever you want with the SCV that's with the emitter. So after the. Oh wait, did I just? Oh, start building fans around. So basically, after this SCV is done building the command center with the side emitter, you send that SCV back into the heart of your base, and you're good to go. So the manual says that you can take the suggested path for this mission is go through the middle. Go through the middle where the bunker, where you saw me place the siege tank at. The other alternate path is to the north, where that Wraith is, where the Wraith spawns at. The route it does not say to take is the south path. This is the safest path to fight through. One, you're going to destroy factory units. Because you have the siege tank. Do I need to say anything more else? You have the siege tank. You have literally the best anti-ground vehicle of the Terran arsenal. When in position, this thing can wreck. And I mean wreck. So, why? Well, Spider-Man's good. But, yeah. Also, keynote, build an academy here and there. Just build the academy to, if you're still going to go for the biomech. It's really good for if you want to basically still use the Marines and tanks in this mission. There's nothing wrong with you in this campaign mission, so you're not going to get harassed by it. But from this point on, don't bother relying on the barracks. You're going to be doing a lot more damage when you go mech in this game, because mech is the way to go if you're not playing against Zerg. I mean, tanks are still useful in Terran vs. Zerg. It's just not as much. Now, let's get back to the siege tank. The siege tank's two modes. The first mode is a standard high fire rate mode that does 30 damage. Let's take a look before I start lying on points. Siege tank. Yes, 30 damage. I was right. They kept this damage value in StarCraft 2, but they dumped it down by 5 damage. So basically, but still, the fire rate is still rapid fire. It's really good on the move, so there's that. The siege mode, however, is 70 damage per shot. It's a long reload. Well, it feels like a long reload, but it's not a very long reload. It's about 3 seconds. But the transition to the siege mode and the tank mode is basically about the same long as basically firing the gun. But it's the aiming point. It's not instant. There is some delay in firing the gun of the siege tank siege mode. However, this the siege mode does come with a cost, though, a big drawback. It's not known as a siege tank for nothing. This is an artillery tank. And if you've played, for example, World of Tanks, you are fully familiar with the concept of high explosive splash damage, or HE, or basically splash damage in general. The tank does friendly fire. It's not forgiving. This is why I say, like, with the science vest, it's really useful. At this point, I will remember, like, hey, I have siege tanks, I have a factory. I'll still be building Marines, and I'm like, oh, I was trying to build Marines. I'll realize my error shortly. And that's basically it. However, the splash damage is very bad in the Terran versus Protoss and Zerg matchup. You don't want to, shall I say, have enemy units on top of your siege tanks and get splash damage. The Widow, and I forgot to mention, the Widow Mine, as you can probably see, does splash damage as well. So, what we're doing in this is just basically having some fun. We're building more stuff and all this other stuff. Wraiths are not useful in this mission. They're basically the biggest glass cannon of all, and meh.
Your forces are under attack.
But they're nice to have though, because they're still useful. But pair them with Marines and such, with the Science Vessel, because these enemy Wraiths do have Cloak. It's not a shame if you lose one or two Wraiths here and there. But that's basically it. Now this mineral. Now let's move on with the mission and what I'm doing. I'm basically ignoring the top two paths, what the manual's telling me. I want to just basically get in that base and say, I'm going to get in your face and just kill you. Oh, there will come a point where this is the point where I basically back off, because one, keeping your units alive in this is really helpful, because you can basically repair them, and the SCV is really good at repairing mechanical units, but repairing a siege tank will cost both minerals and gas. So every time you repair something that costs the Vespene gas, will basically deduct from your bank. The only factory unit that can be repaired, or the only two units in the game that can be repaired by an SCV, is an SCV and the Vulture. Both those units do not require gas. However, repairing any advanced structures in the game will cost gas. So repairing the Science Vessel, the Starport, the factory, machine shops, control towers, covert ops, which we'll be seeing next game, and the physics lab, which we'll be seeing, the game tells you that you get a new weapon in the. Well, actually, no. You do get a new unit. You get it in both the next mission, and mission 9. But we don't start building that unit until mission 10. So we're not going to be seeing the battle cruisers for a long time. So, this Goliath. So we're not going to be seeing the Goliath for a very long time. So don't get your hopes up if people want to see the almighty battle cruiser. You will be seeing the battle cruiser. I will make it. I will be making it official. I love this cap. I love this skin of the battle cruiser. The original Terran battle cruiser from StarCraft 1 is beautiful. It's the StarCraft 2 skin is not bad if you got, and since all the skins came out with it, not bad at all. So here's what we're doing. We're basically just mopping up everything. You do encounter ghosts in this mission that can basically lock down all mechanical units. I believe that is one of the new enemy units, because I remember correctly. Well, yeah, this is also the first mission when you encounter ghosts. So yeah, just keep your siege tanks a little bit further away. Keep the Science Vessel in detection. If you want to basically play a sacrificial lamb to a lockdown, send an SCV or send a Vulture. A Goliath you can probably spare, in quotation marks, but you cannot spare the siege tank, you cannot spare the Science Vessel, or, well, you can spare a Wraith, because those are just boring, flimsy. But there's great support units for battle cruisers for air-to-air combat. That's what they're really good at. However, this is the point where I'm basically starting to build more and more Goliaths now, because hey, look, I have all this mineral floating around. I could probably go building factories, but I've been actually playing this entire mission without stim packs, and I like, oh, I don't care. I'm at the end of this anyway. I've got 5 siege tanks. I've got a reasonable amount of Goliaths. I've got some Marines here. I've got a bit more in reserves, and I'm supply block. I am scrub lord beyond belief. Well, that's fine. We'll just send these SCVs to start building supply depots. We'll be fine. So, at this point, we'll be encountering the first Terran battlecruiser on the enemy team. Well, the AI from this mission. It'll pop up in the top. It'll pop up in the top left of the screen. Coming to defend the base. Once you get to this part, be sure that you take out the factory to the south, because where all it goes bad. There it is, the battle cruiser. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Look how Goliath just wrecks those things. Really nasty stuff. However, this is basically the end of the mission. We'll be seeing more of the mech army in the next mission. How basically a lot of people play it, but I'm still Scrub Lord. So we're basically clearing the path for this. So I think we won't be seeing this type of. We won't be seeing the side emitters again until about basically Brood War, the final campaign, or yeah, we won't be seeing the side emitters until Brood War. So see you guys next time.
Just promise me we'll never do anything like this again.
We will do whatever it takes to save humanity. Our responsibility is too great to do any less.